There's two categories, otherwise known as binary.
Lots of women can't get pregnant either.
Yeah, but they're still of the nature to get pregnant. The only
Wait, no. Whoa. The of the nature, no, they're not. By nature, if you are born with the incapacity of giving birth, that is by nature. That is natural. But to do that, we gotta do some content. So, we're gonna look. I know we're gonna look at a Matt Walsh video. I know I talk a lot. I respond to Matt Walsh a lot. I think it's important because the dude is very popular. This video, how many videos is that? This is 1 day old. It's got 400K views. Dude has 2.2 million subscribers. My comment section is always filled with defenders of his. So let's take a look at, I guess he showed up to some college or something and responded to a trans person who's an EMT person. I've seen a bit of this. This is, we'll see how this goes. I'm immediately always worried whenever I basically see this format, because essentially whoever the person is that's challenging the person with the podium is, you're going to be at a distinct disadvantage. Also, if they're surrounded in a room, which I think this is like one of those Young America conference things, you're in a room that is actively against you. That's what you are. You're in a hostile room. You're John Cena at ECW One Night Stand against Rob Van Dam. You are, if you win, they riot. That is just the relationship that you're in. So always difficult to enter this space, but let's take a look. Let's see how this person responded. Like I said, I only saw a bit of the exchange. They did a pretty decent job, but anyway, let's go.
How would you define a woman? Because you've asked other people up here to define how we would define a woman. How would you define a woman,
yes,
Mr. Walsh?
What is a woman?
An adult human female.
Big applause. Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, you're up against a room that will hear adult human female and fucking seal clap. They'll go, got him, even though that doesn't actually mean anything. That's a you would have to yeah, okay.
And how doesn't a transgender woman fit that definition?
Female. Because they're not.
Ask them what a female is.
They have you said that you are a biological male, correct?
I said I'm transgender. I might be intersex for all we know. About almost as many people
ask them what a female is.
The world are transgender as intersex, and a lot of people don't know.
I already see a mistake in here.
But that's a different conversation.
The problem is you're letting him ask questions. We've unfortunately the die has already been cast. Mainly because he knows that answering questions isn't what he's here to do. He's here to ask you questions. Is to take your question and ask you and then spit it back to you and ask you to answer your own question. When the onus is on him, he needs to be answering the question, but he's not going to.
Intersex, that's a genetic anomaly. That's a medical condition. So that's a completely different conversation. That's also not a third gender.
Well,
that's just it's a genetic anomaly that occurs within the sex binary of male and female.
Well, it's either it can't be. First of all, if there's a gender binary and then there are intersex people, that would mean that it's not a binary. That's what that means. Because if it's black or white, but then there's a little bit of gray in there or a little bit of purple or whatever fucking color you want to constitute as this, then by definition that's not a binary. Like, by definition it's not. A binary is that it can only be one of two things. If there is anything in between, any other option, then it's not a binary. Yep, think about it, my friend.
So what you're saying is that a quote-unquote trans woman is a female?
There is an argument.
The definitions I'm familiar with, yes.
So how would you define female?
And there it is. See, she should have been asking this question, because as soon as he says adult human female, the next question is define adult. The next question after that is define human, and then define female. Like this whole adult human female thing is already built. That as a catch-all, as a immediate checkmate to everything is only as powerful as you allow it to be, because he's in a room where that's good enough for everybody. So you have to, if you want to do this and do it successfully, first of all, just be stoic, don't give a fuck, ignore everybody in the room as much as you can. But more than anything, if you really want to challenge him, make him define every single thing he says. And when he complains about it, because he inevitably will, ask him if he's unserious about his position.
Through my training in healthcare, there are several different categories for how we define sex. People bring up chromosomes. People also bring up hormone levels. People bring up all sorts of other categories. Lots of people don't fit neatly into a gender binary, even people we don't consider to be intersex. It's a complicated spectrum.
It's not.
So you rebuke and reprove. You say XY. What about intersex people? There are intersex people that are females, but they do have an extra chromosomal whatever the fuck the word is. I always forget the term. I'm not a goddamn scientist.
Not complicated, but you also didn't define. So what is a woman? What is a female? What do these words mean?
It's complicated, and I know you're not going to like that answer, but that's because there are no simple.
Oh, I love this. I always love the "it's complicated," idiot, and then they go, "Oh man, you think it's like, yeah, human genealogy is kind of complicated. I don't understand like half of it, but to say that, oh no, the answer of like it's complicated, it's not this or that, it's many things. Like, yeah, like that's, we as humans are not simple creatures.
Answers in human biology.
Let me ask you a question.
You guys,
Can I ask you
well,
one last
hang
question?
on. Just let me finish. You guys like to
Also,
bring up
this person's controlling the
high
mic for
school
them.
level
They should have
biology
taken the
classes
mic.
a lot. I get
They
that
should
a
have taken
lot,
the
but
mic and cut a
people who
promo
go on
immediately.
to more complicated biology
WWE
classes
style.
will talk about sex as a
No,
spectrum.
that's a lie.
It's
Wrestling, just wrestling style.
It's not.
New
Well,
Japan Pro
biological
Wrestling
researchers would disagree.
press conference
Well, they're full
style.
of the ones that would say that. There's.
Yes, Matt Walsh, unlearned doctor telling doctors and scientists, nope, nope. Your non-gender binary doesn't fit into my narrative. Nope. Ignore. See, this crowd, anybody who sat in this crowd, you're a fucking idiot. You are cheering for anti-science. Just understand that. You're cheering for a man who has a elementary understanding of human biology, rebuking people who have doctorates, people who study this stuff, who dedicate years, if not decades of their life to the understanding of human biology. And you're cheering because at the end of the day, it's not about science. It's just about what fits nicely into your narrative and propaganda and your worldview of how things should be organized.
There are.
All right.
All these people should be deeply embarrassed for clapping.
There
for
are
that.
male gametes and female gametes. Oh, I had one last question. I just had one. I had one quick. Can you come back for 1 second? Because this is an important question. You said you're an EMT.
Also, the even then the
Okay, if
female
you're
part
responding-
of this is
You're responding
also
to
not the
a health
question,
emergency.
because didn't this person ask originally? What are we at? What am I at? 250. Cool. Where's the 1 second?
Define a woman. How would you define
There it
a woman?
is. Okay, yeah. Do you notice that he jumped? The question was, how do you define a woman, right? And he jumped to, okay, adult human female, and then moves on to answer all the rest of these. Well, again, I didn't ask, this original person didn't ask him about females. He asked about woman, which again, this is a conflation of gender and sex, which happens all the time. It's kind of the thing that Matt Walsh always sidesteps, because there's just the minute that he accepts that, or that he acknowledges that gender and sex are different things, that they refer to different things, then it's then it's inconvenient. It's a longer conversation. That's probably the biggest thing with this, is you've got to pin him down on definitions. and then actually make him explain what a woman is. Get him to talk at long lengths about female biology and everything else, and then bring it back to women, because women, the term woman doesn't have anything to do with biology. It has everything to do with some sex characteristics and societal expectations.
You're responding to a health emergency. Biological male. Somebody with a
Wait, rebuke and reprove. So you're telling me that we had a term for a phenomenon, and then we updated that term? You do know what you're saying is that these people have already existed, right? Like, you do understand that, right? Terms are not scientific also, you moron. Terms are linguistic.
a penis is having a medical emergency.
And
they
without
say to
finishing
you,
the thought, make him explain. Exactly.
I think
Make
I'm having a miscarriage.
Yeah.
Would you emergency?
Oh
And
yeah.
they say
Okay. 1 second.
biological male. MT.
Yes.
Okay, if you're responding to a health emergency.
All right.
Biological male.
Okay.
Somebody with a penis
Right.
is
Somebody
having
with a
medical
Johnson.
emergency.
Okay.
And they say to you, I think I'm having a miscarriage.
Uh-huh.
Would you check them to see if they're having a miscarriage? Would you consider that a possibility for them?
Well, okay. Let's make the assumption that they showed up, their dick is swinging left to right, maybe a little bit up and down. They're on the ground writhing in pain, and then then this EMT comes up and the person's like, "I'm thinking having a miscarriage." To which any EMT respond, "I'm not 100% sure about that, Chief." Obviously, you wouldn't say that. But also keep in mind, this definition of female, right? Because he's arguing a person, a biological male, right? Or in this case, I guess, a biological female is by definition somebody who can have a miscarriage, right? So the question becomes, are those... let me rephrase this, because I rephrased it halfway through in my brain, and then I lost my train of thought. Right. Females. So what he's saying essentially is that females are the only persons that can have birth, right? Like that's the thing, right? That's the whole, females can give birth, right? This is true. But is that true for all women? Which again, it's why he's focusing on the female end of this, because it's like, I don't want to answer the woman question, even though it's the thing that we're talking about. He was asked, what is a woman? And now he's run back to like, we need to talk about females and and females are the only ones who can have babies. Well, yes, they're the only ones who have the capability, because that's the equipment that they're born with, but that's not the experience of all women. It's just simply not. There are women who cannot give birth and yet are still females. So what is and are still women. So what's the connection here? I just never, it's always, again, this person in chat said it earlier, you got to keep him on topic, because he's going to run to the easier conversation to have, or at the very least the not answer. He's never going to answer what a woman is past adult human female, because then he would have to substantiate all the rest of that. Yeah, and then the crowd, yeah. I think this is the part of the clip that I saw.
No, but that's because some people don't have body parts.
Yep.
Doesn't mean they're not a woman.
Okay. Sounds like we've established there are some people who, in principle, can get pregnant, and there's
Wait. Rebuke and reprove. We updated the term to mean a made-up category. You do know all categories are made up, right? That you're aware of that, right? Every single category is made up. Every single one of them. Yep, made up a non-scientific category. Again, all categories are I don't know about non-scientific, but they are all arbitrary and made up. Mental disorder. Well, are you a psychologist capable of actually making that determination? It would be better seen and understood as a type of mental disorder, gender confusion. Well, we have gender dysphoria. That's a mental. I don't know about disorder. I believe it's like a mental illness, maybe. But you know, I mean,
Some people who can't. So there's two categories, otherwise known as binary.
Lots of women can't get pregnant either.
Yeah, but they're still of the nature to get pregnant. The only
wait,
reason,
no. Whoa. The of the nature. No, they're not. By nature, if you are born with the incapacity of giving birth, that is by nature. That is natural. We can't say that, oh, well, most women are naturally able to give birth. That doesn't matter. When we're talking about nature, we are simply talking about the natural, non-influenced outcome of people's development, of the human development. Meaning that if there is a possibility that somebody can be born with all of the female, organs, all of the female engineering, all of it, and not be able to have children, that doesn't make it unnatural. That is part of the natural order. You can say that it's non-traditional, or you can say that we don't see it often, but that's not the same thing as not natural. And that's not the same thing as, that's not the same thing as validating a binary. A binary, by definition, I said this earlier, means there can only be two outcomes. You know what's a binary? A fucking quarter. A quarter is a binary. It's either heads or tails. It cannot be any of those other two options. But humans have quite a few other options. Multiple options, actually. Some people believe that, some scientists believe that it's a spectrum. This is what I mean.
You can't get pregnant.
Yes, but
truth matters, right?
It does. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Truth matters, and they can't get pregnant. That's the truth. So how are they still women?
Because they are for the same reason.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. This person did a fine job. It's just they're in a hostile room, and they only made the real mistake of not keeping it on topic and explaining what each of the categories that he's trying to define are. Because to define woman, again, you'd have to go back and define all the rest of it. So
that I can rightly say that human beings have two legs, and if a person is born with only one leg, that doesn't call into question the statement that human beings have two legs.
Wait, no, but that would mean that there's a spectrum.
Doesn't mean that now legs are on a
based on
spectrum.
how many. No, that is
we can't say
what that
anything at all
means.
about how many legs a person has. Who knows? They could be a centipede. They could have a.
I have a kind of quick question. So most humans have two legs. We are bipedal creatures. But what if somebody had four legs? What if somebody else had one leg by birth? Are they still a human? Are they still, would we still identify a human with 4 or 3 legs as a human still, even though they have a non-traditional, or at the very least I don't even want to say normal, but we'll say the non-normal trend of number of legs as most humans? Is that a disqualifying factor? I don't certainly think so. I think as long, if you saw somebody on the street and they had like an extra leg, but everything else was normal about them, would you identify them as anything other than still just human? Like, we as people are spectrums. I don't get why what the opposition is again, behind this. Why we can't be a spectrum. We can't be a spectrum. We can't be a spectrum. We're a spectrum of so many different things. Our interests, our tastes, our hobbies, our likes, our dislikes. We are built on spectrums of things that we like, dislike to varying. Thank you, God damn, I can't fucking read when that's flashing. Commonsensical Kurt, I appreciate that. But we are massive spectrums as humans. There are things that we like more than others for random ass reasons. Like people like fruits better than other fruits, even though a lot of fruits taste like the same as this other fruit. Like we're all spectrums. I don't know why this is so controversial to people like Matt Walsh. I just don't get it. Like, why does it matter? Why are you so obsessed with it? I've never understood it. Maybe you can answer Rebuke and Reprove, since you seem to have a deep interest in this topic.
100 legs. No, we know human beings have two legs. If a human is born without two legs, something went wrong. They were supposed to have that second leg. Something went wrong.
Wait, but how do we know that something went
If you meet a person on
wrong?
the street who only has one leg,
If they can
maybe
get
they had an
around
accident,
perfectly
maybe they were
fine,
in
then
war, maybe something, you know, maybe they were in
it's
a car
fine.
accident, maybe they had cancer, a leg was cut off. But you know
Well,
that
yeah,
something
that's
went wrong
because they went from one
by
state
their
to
nature,
another.
They're supposed to have two legs. Same thing.
Well, by their nature, by that person who was only born with one leg's nature, their nature is one leg. Just because everybody else's nature is two legs does not mean that that person's nature isn't one leg. And the only reason why you know that a person is why that would be bad or whatever it might be. You know, the only way you know something went wrong is if you see a lack of that thing, or if you're comparing them to somebody with two legs and you believe that two legs is the preferred, is the normal, is the whatever. But you only understand having one leg as being negative because of the context of everybody else having two legs. In the vacuum that is nature, having one leg is perfectly fine. My uncle has one leg. He gets around fine. Dude's actually fucking jacked. Like, it's kind of nuts. But yeah, you don't know that unless you can't determine that unless you have something to compare it to. But if you're comparing something, that doesn't invalidate somebody, you know, having only one leg. And even if you have one leg, again, it's not like you're not a human just because most humans, you know, have two legs. It's the same thing with females. Well, I should say it's the same thing with women. Females is a different conversation. Females is a little bit more complicated, but in terms of genealogy. But I don't have the scientific background to talk deeply on that issue. The woman stuff is the important part of it.
For a woman by her nature can get pregnant. A man by his nature never can. So if you meet a woman of childbearing age, say she's 28 years old, and she can't get pregnant, you know automatically that something has gone wrong. And she can go to the doctor and find out what that thing is, even if they can't fix it. So that proves that women by their nature can get pregnant, because the simple fact that she can't shows you that there's something wrong. This is what is known as the exception that proves the rule.
It's why they always focus on
can't get pregnant,
on
no
like genes and XY, even though you can't tell any of that stuff.
Because they already know it's that he's a male, and there's only male and female. Those who get pregnant, those who
not your
can't.
sexual moralism.
So
West. Anyway, science determined that spectrum. But wait. You moron. Science has already validated the spectrum. I don't think you realize you're not on the science side. You're on the crowd side, where there are scientists who come out have already said human sexuality is a spectrum. That's already. I'm sorry, the ship has already sailed on that one. They're already celebrating in another country. You're still back on the mainland. Time to, you know, catch a flight, catch up with everybody else. Science has left you all behind on this one.
That's it.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So let me here. Let me see if we can like kind of demonstrate this. I had this idea earlier when I was thinking about this. Let me let's do this. Let's do that. Let's just I know what it'll do. Maybe this. God damn it. It's not exactly what I was. I want to find a good generated maybe. Wait. Let's do this. I want to find like a really good example of like what I'm trying to demonstrate. You know, we'll just do this. We'll just do this. Okay, not with that. Okay. Let's see. Let's go with this one. This should be fun. Rebuke and reprove. Are you still in chat? I have a request. If you would humor me. If you're not here, then we're gonna move on. But I do have a request. If you're willing to play along. I don't think they are. I'm pretty sure they said whatever dumb shit they said and left. Let me find out. One viewer. Yeah, they probably ran. Okay, well, that's fine. We'll do it with somebody later, I guess. I was really hoping to get one of these people to come on. Can't even see their comment. They're on YouTube. Oh wait, no, yeah, wait. Let me see if I can check YouTube. Yeah, they're over on YouTube. I have both chats that present. Devil's Advocate if you want. Okay. Well, in that case, here we'll do this. If you want to play Devil's Advocate, I am happy to oblige then, cause I think this is kind of interesting. Or I don't know about interesting, but I was thinking about this. All right. The question at hand is, and this is kind of how I approach it a lot of times. What are we looking at in front of us? Most people would say a woman, to which Matt Walsh would say when asked, well, what is a woman? Well, Matt Walsh would say adult human female, right? So we would ask kind of simply, is this person an adult? Probably. Are they a human? Well, we kind of, we'll make the assumption that they're a human. Now, are they a female? Now, Kurt, commonsensical Kurt, can you tell me, how do you know that this person here, this entity, is a female? Is there something that you can visually observe that immediately you go, that's a female? Matt Walsh brought up gametes, chromosomes. If any of, she can give birth and she has a need for a bra. All right. I like those two examples. So she can give birth. What if I told you she cannot? She doesn't have ovaries or any of the mechanics to, to give birth. Is she still a woman? Is she still a woman? That's like the follow up to that. Or I guess, is she still a female? Sorry, I keep dithering on those terms because constantly hear people conflate them all the time. The car without an engine is still a car. Ah, yes. You see, when we get down to it, we can't really, the way that we identify things aren't based on, you don't see a car riding by. For all you know, it's in neutral and somebody's pushing it with their feet, Fred Flintstone style. What we do is we determine who is and isn't a woman based on mostly visual traits and societal standards. Meaning, I know this is a woman because generally we identify women as having, large breasts, usually having, you mentioned bras earlier, probably what's the one I'm thinking of? Smoother skin, the use of makeup, all these sorts of things. And this lies where whenever people say, oh, adult human female is how you define woman, to which I can't help but go, what about this woman in this picture? Can you identify any female traits such as gametes or chromosomes, anything? You can't. You simply can't. There's no way to define this person as a female without further information, without, did they give birth? Are they able to give birth? For all I know, this person is an incredibly passing trans woman. I don't know. I have no idea who this person is. I just looked up woman on Google Images and picked one. But this lies the argument, the conversation, how we identify people in society. Nobody ever comes up to me and compliments my both of my X chromosomes. It doesn't happen. Nobody comes up to me and compliments my male gametes or my gonads or any of this sort of stuff. I mean, you know, so yeah, sometimes they come up to me and tell me, wow, Josh, you have a huge cock. That's really cool. You know, but that's not like, that's not how we approach people in society. We just don't. I need to complicate. My grandparents didn't need to complicate it. Yeah, like, and it'd be just simple. It'd be so simple if we just went, if you look like this, yeah, you're probably a woman. That's all trans people want anyway, is to just look. Trans, like, I hate to, I don't like to use. I never like to. For me. Let's see. What is fuck, I can't remember. Is it okay? We're gonna use probably the person who I have the most experience in terms of watching their content that I didn't even know they were trans ahead of time. I hate, what's it called? I never like using people as examples who are, I don't know, it's weird. I don't like using people who have, like, this person's just a Google image, random Google image thing. But let me see if I can find one that's not like, okay, sure, you know what, we'll do this. All trans people would like from society, and I don't think it's that hard of an ask, is to, you know, when regular people see women who look like this and women who look like this, that actually timed really well. There isn't this huge conversation, this huge, like, oh, we need to check genitals, we need to do all the rest of this stuff. That's all people want, is to go about their lives in a way that they're not constantly being, watched by other people, investigated by regular people, constantly put upon. All trans people would like to do is go shop at the places that they like to shop, go to bathroom where they fit in. You know, would you allow this person, or this person for that matter, you know, assuming one of them is trans, neither of them are trans, we don't know, you kind of can't really tell unless I told you, would you let either of these people into a men's room? Because what? Because of their fucking chromosomes? No. It's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. And it's all people want. It's like, it's not even a hard ask. And that's what frustrates me, is we have to have this entire linguistic debate over, it seems like there are two types of people based on biology. There are more than two types of people based on biology. Quite frankly, we already know this. Intersex people already exist. It's a spectrum. Scientists already agree on this. But why there's such an obsession? It's not because Matt Walsh cares about biology or cares about science or any of this. It's simply because he finds trans people icky, and the idea of human transgenderism to be triggering to his sensibilities, which, you know what? Matt Walsh has all the right to be triggered. He has all the right to be triggered all he wants. But God, am I tired of these people attempting to draw arbitrary boundaries on civil rights around to avoid people who they just find icky. Matt, I find you incredibly icky, but I'm not out here asking that bearded, glasses wearing white guys not be allowed to to participate fully in society because bald bearded white guys give me the ickies. Like, that's not a thing that anybody else is doing. We're not gonna have it's just annoying, man. It's so obvious that he's grasping for any explanation for his bigotry to post hoc his bigotry. And it's, unfortunately, people tend to be pretty malleable to arguments from a, I guess, disgust lens. You know, if you can find somebody who finds the same things gross as you, I guess you can bond over that. I don't It's just annoying. I don't know why people can't just let people live. And this is from the party who pretends that they're, we're just the party of let everybody, go about their lives. And what about opportunities being taken away from real women by trans women? Women fought hard for those opportunities. Now trans people get to just piggyback on all that work. Well, what exactly are we talking about here? When we talk about opportunities, what are we... usually that talking point is based around sports, to which sports is a conversation. But I'm curious what you mean by opportunities being taken away from real women, I guess. What the what do women get to do less now because of the existence of trans women, I suppose. Okay, how long is this? Okay, we have to be brisk with this one. You can't... can I put... I don't like putting Ben at 1.25. I don't know. It's just an argument here. Yeah. Okay. So let me address that, because that is an argument people make. Is what opportunities, and if somebody brings that up to you, and people go, well, what about opportunities that women fought for? To which the question becomes, such as, if we're talking about sports, trans women track much closer on average. And again, this is a spectrum, funnily enough. Trans women generally track closer to women's athletic acumen versus men's athletic acumen. So if we took a woman, had her play, let's say, volleyball, and a man had them play play volleyball, and we kind of looked at their stats or whatever, then took a trans woman, generally what we find is after rounds of estrogen and hormone therapy, that trans woman is going to be a lot closer to parity with a woman athlete than they will a male counterpart. That also depends on when they received their basically their hormones, and if they began any of their male puberty. Which is why, whenever anybody says, oh, well, we can't let trans women compete in women's sports because they're going to outpace men or outpace women, to which there is an argument that trans women who went through male puberty do have a developmental advantage that's pretty outsized compared to women who went through a women's puberty and development and all of that. That is kind of true. Do you want to know what the solution to that is? It's puberty blockers. That's all it is. It's those trans kids will take puberty blockers until they decide which gender they fit more closely into, and then they go on estrogen or they go on testosterone, and then again they will be closer to that gender than they would have if they're trying to reverse a puberty. But the problem is here, and this is the sticking point, is conservatives, Republicans, reactionaries, whatever, they're all I shouldn't say all, because the actual support of transgenderism amongst the Republican Party isn't actually as bad as you would think. But specifically, Matt Walsh, types like that, they don't want kids being on those hormones, meaning that they don't want the solution to the problem that they have. They have a problem with trans women outperforming women in sports, which the solution to that is puberty blockers when they're kids, and taking whatever hormones they prefer to take as they're when they're ready to develop. But they don't like that answer. They don't like that answer at all. So they're like, oh nope, we don't want to do any of it. So we'll never get to the end of it. We give them the solution that would give them what they want, which is fair competition, and they just don't want it because it's not about the competition. They don't care about fair competition. They care about weeding trans people out of society. That's what they're interested in. If it was about competition, then this would be a perfectly applicable, perfectly okay thing that they would approve of. But they don't. They're not interested in it. They're not interested in the solution because they were never interested in the problem. It's just a avenue to attack trans people on. And make them second-class citizens. You know the thing that they tell, like at the end of all YouTube videos where they tell you to like click on one of these like things to watch more videos. Yeah, I've been meaning to film one of those. So that's what I was doing. I was just setting it up to film one.